السميع العليم من شر الشيطان الرجيم وكيده ومكائده ومن الثقة بأمانيه ومواعيده وغروره. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية مولى الموحدين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب أولاده المعصومين عليهم السلام. ونصلي ونسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين العبد المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهداة المهديين لا سيما الحجة بقية الله الأعظم في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Inshallah, you are doing well, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our a'mal, prayers and fasting in this holy month, and helps us, assist us in our way to achieve the path to be able to go through to develop our personality or spirituality in this holy month toward Him and Ahl Bayt alayhim as-salam. In the past session we discussed about the idea of intizar and viewpoints in the idea of intizar. Just a quick recap, we talked about what is the meaning of intizar. We have talked about there are different levels in our understanding. Sometimes we have a superficial understanding of topics. We get the elements of superficial understanding, the definition of superficial understanding and viewpoint. Superficial understandings is an understanding based on not having a deep approach toward things, analyzing everything with a small amount of data, information, not asking or concerning or considering the details and reason behind events or the consequences of an event. Superficial understanding is usually based on guessing instead of facts, instead of data. Superficial understanding is usually usually will lead to misunderstanding and misinterpreting an event, which will lead to reacting poorly or inappropriately toward that event. Superficial understanding could happen in every topic, in everything. A good example could be economy. If, as we said that in the last session, the prices go up, everybody come up with one reason, one cause. But it is different angles, different. A big economy is not a simple thing that you say, okay, this is the only reason, too many demands. No, this is not the only reason. You have to consider all the angles, all the elements for that. When it comes to religious topics, it is more important, it's vital. Why? Because religion is not something that we can come up with reasons behind that. Religious is the most important topics. One of the reasons behind this claim is that we couldn't come with the idea of religion. That is why it got revealed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't tell us how to make phones, cars, did He? How to run the society, how our communication to each other should be, because we could discover that, develop that. But He sent down messengers and revelations and books in order to express Himself, His religion, the way toward himself to development, to prosperity, to his spirituality. Why? Because this path is complicated, is a hidden path. So it requires an outside guidance. It cannot be relied on human development. That is, an outside force to guide you. So having this kind of viewpoint in religious topic is very dangerous. You can understand the error in the economy after a while, but in religious it is more subtle, more complicated. That is why we have to pay attention to it. There are reasons for that, for this viewpoint, especially in religious concepts. One of the reasons is oversimplification. We see someone in the minbar, in the majlis, talking and explaining, for example, the reasons behind Ashura. What happened? What are the reasons that led to society who invited the son of Rasulullah to do those wretched things toward him? There is not one element. We see someone comes to minbar, gives the topic of lecture is this, the reasons behind the event of Ashura. And this person lecturer gives us 10 reasons. I oversimplified those 10 reasons to 1, to 2. This is not the problem of the lecture, this is the problem of me. I oversimplified those reasons, try to gather all of those reasons into 1. So oversimplification is a problem, especially in religious content. Another reason behind this is what? Is temptation. Especially there is a very open area in religious content, especially in Mahdawiyya. People find interest. They can claim that they saw Imam. They can claim that there are Imam themselves. This is an area of interest, of manipulation. So when there is area of manipulation and interest, people get tempted. And also it comes from the reason that we have this kind of look is because we don't understand properly the divine rules. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Ra'd, ayah number 11, says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Indeed, surely, definitely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to change the status, the situation of a people, of a group, unless they do it themselves. This is a rule. Throughout time and history, every movement, every change happened with this thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the messengers, the anbiya, the religions. But they did what? They wanted to create a movement, a people, a group. Right or wrong? Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm not going to change your situation with a mu'jizah. If you want to change it, you have to start yourself. Do it yourself. The change comes with you. This is the divine rule. I'm going to send a leader, someone, right? In the story of Prophet Musa, Isa, other prophets, not just our prophet, every other prophetic movements throughout history is like that. One person came, bring the divine message to people, but wanted people to move with him, to help him, to assist him. So Allah is not going to change it in a miraculous way. It is not going to happen. But because we don't pay attention to this, we say, okay, Imam is going to come and fix everything for us, inshallah. Putting all the burden on Imam. He is going to fix everything, inshallah. Ahsan so much. So what happened to this ayah? What happened to this few thousand years of divine rules? His fathers didn't do that. His grandfather didn't do that. The prophet didn't do that. Other prophets, they didn't go this way. What gives me an understanding that when he comes, he's going to change everything himself? And if that's true, why he didn't do that himself so far? If I don't have any responsibility, if he's going to come and rescue all of us, it's been over 1,000 years. No, okay, he's going to, no, he's not going to do it himself. He needs 313. Ajib. And when you ask about the characteristic of those 300, no, those are like Imam himself, those are a very, okay, so that they are not normal human beings, they are superheroes, and they are going to flip the situation of the universe with, no, it is not going to happen like that, is it? Because I want to relinquish my responsibility. Okay, he is going to fix everything. This idea. Some of these viewpoints, let's go with, I think it's common in the community of Shia, regardless of their place. They have this superficial understanding of the concept of zuhur. One of them, for example, is what? Appearance or zuhur, reappearance, happens by Imam and without any help from people, without any preparation. He just it's going to be the incident of zuhur, okay, and I don't have to be prepared for that. He is going to fix. In Quran we have an ayah, Nabi Musa and his people, they passed across the Nile, right? After that, they come to a new land, which is Jerusalem, Palestine. At that time, that land was occupied by oppressors, rulers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Nabi Musa ala nabiyyina wa ala alayhi salatu wassalam, you have a big people, you are a big group of people. You don't have to go and for a war. No, there is not going to be a war. Because you have the quantity, those rulers are going to be, the gate will be open for you. Just go there. Don't be afraid. They sent some scout. Those scouts came back with these are big people. They have big soldiers. They eat other human beings. Created a panic among Bani Israel. What happened? Bani Israel said, فَاذْهَبْ أَنْتَ وَرَبُّكَ. We have this in Surah Al-Ma'idah. فَاذْهَبْ أَنْتَ وَرَبُّكَ فَقَاتِلَا إِنَّا هَاهُنَا قَاعِدُونَ. O Musa, you and your Lord go fight with them. We are going to sit here. We are not going because of the plan. We are not going to come. You and فَاذْهَبْ أَنْتَ وَرَبُّكَ. You and your Lord go fight with them. فَقَاتِلَا. Do the qital, do the jihad. إِنَّا هَاهُنَا قَاعِدُونَ. We are going to sit tight here. Some people has this idea about zuhur. I'm standing, I'm doing intizar, I'm waiting. I'm just sitting here. My place is good here. Another idea that we have, which is a superficial idea in intizar, that the world situation is going to change in an instant. Up until yesterday, people wasn't have any kind of interest into Islam. All of a sudden, zuhur happened. They say, oh, I feel very good now. I want to go and do the Salat al-Jum'ah. Is it correct? So zuhur happens, people are going to change. Another example, I'm waiting for him. Okay, what is the form of waiting? I'm just sitting and doing dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making his appearance. Without any actual preparation. Okay, what are your skills? Oh, I don't have to have the skills. I'm doing dua. That is enough. Okay, let's say tomorrow zuhur happened. What you are going to do in that army? Definitely, Imam won't be needing someone who is good at dua. Imam is the source of dua himself. What are other abilities? What are your preparations for this big event? Another thing is, some people, they don't have any idea of different steps that takes place in zuhur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's go toward this understanding these rulings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many verses in the Quran says, فَلَن تَجْدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا وَلَن تَجْدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَحْوِيلًا. What is the meaning of it? You cannot find any change in the divine rules. You cannot find any alteration in divine. When we said something is divine rules, it's going to be there for good. But we consider the appearance be a revolution out of this world. A revolution like none others, which is not like any other. Look at the movement of Prophet Musa. It was out of this world, or it happened step by step. Look at the movement of our own Prophet. It was out of the world. It was a miracle. It was a mu'jiza. No, it happened step by step. Prophet has a hidden da'wah, a small call, then family call, then a general call in Mecca, then the oppression got too much, they start moving toward Medina. Immigration happened, hijrah happened. Different steps. When you look at it, you understand that there are another understanding, another superficial understanding. It is a forced and sword-based revolution, movement. Imam, when comes, he is going to force everybody. There is going to be the bloodshed everywhere. This is the idea, especially of the past generations, or grandfathers or forefathers. And that is why some of them were really afraid, and instead of having passion, this love in themselves, also, oh no, we have some of ahadith, of course, but we have to understand the meaning of those ahadith. We have to see the other side as well. We have to understand the situation of that time. What happened that he's going to use force and sword? Is he generally is going to use that? Or no? The force and sword is for those who are against him, who have seen all the evidence, but they want to remain their path. It is very important. There is a hadith says يَمْلَأُ الْأَرْضَ عَدْلًا وَقِسْطًا كَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. What is that? I'm sure all of you know the meaning of it. He is going to fill the earth with just and mercy as if it was filled with wrong and oppressions. Right? Okay, so he is going to do it all himself. Rescuing people from oppression. But people want to be some people doesn't want to be rescued. When there is no call, how you can rescue someone? If your child doesn't cry, do you pay attention? Do you understand what he or she wants? When there is no cry, when there is no calling, how can you understand something? Some people in the world, they say we are perfectly fine. We don't need, we don't have any, it happens especially in the modern countries. When they have, in appearance, everything is in place. You forget. You forget. When you forget, you say, okay, no, there is not such need. I'm not having problem per se to be needed his appearance. So he's going to come to do what? Because they don't feel that oppression, that wrong. So for some people, you have to first clarify, Baba, this is the oppression. This is the hukuma of kufr. As long as this is the hukuma of kufr, there will be many consequences in this path. For some people, you have to clarify this state. This is the first problem. Second problem, those who are running or who calling for help, that doesn't mean that they are ready to accept the justice. We have historical example here. Look at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. What happened at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen? After the martyrdom or passing of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, people didn't come to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, they went for the others. How long would it take? 25 years. People realized, tasted the hukuma of other kind. After 25 years, they become knocking at Imam's door. Look at the khutbah sermon number 3 of Nahjul Balagha. حتى لقد قتل الحسنان وشق أطفاي. My 2 sons were close to get killed. Imam alayhi salam saying in that khutbah. My Abba was ripped. It happened 2 times. One, 25 years ago, when they come toward the door and all of those wretched things. That is understandable because Hassanain back then was 5, 6, 7 years old, small children. But after 25 years, Imam Hassan is above 30. Imam alayhi salam says, you came to my door to become the Khalifa, become the government, become the ruler. In your call, in the second call, after 25 years, my 2 sons will cross to die because of that amount of people coming to the door of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Why Imam alayhi salam didn't want to accept this Khilafah? Imam has ta'aruf. In Farsi, we have something in it to explain. Mujamala. Imam doesn't have mujamala. What is the reason then? Because people weren't ready for the justice government to take over. Imam kept telling them, you are not ready for that situation. But they didn't. No, we are tired of oppression. Oppression got so far, they killed the last Khalifa, the 3rd Khalifa, didn't they? This is the revolution, overthrowing. But so they were tired from the oppression, from those wrongdoers. But they were ready. Were they ready for the justice of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam? Clearly they weren't, because we see what happens 5 years after that. Another understanding that we have is abundance in provision and ni'mah at the time of zuhur. For an unclear reason, when the zuhur, when the reappearance happens, everything will be good. Okay, how? Why? a big, the plenty of na'amat, blessing. But what is the reason for that? There will be no poor or homeless person at that time. But why? How? Is it feasible in a small communities right now for us or not? If we don't understand properly, we cannot prepare ourselves for that. When we don't prepare ourselves for that, that event is not going to happen. Because إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا, because it is a divine rule. Change comes from within people. That is why the ulama, the scholars say, أكثر الدعاء. Imam Ali عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف said that أكثر الدعاء بتعجيل الفرج. If it was one man job, he done the dua himself, didn't he? But he ordered us to do what? To do lots of dua for ta'jeel al-faraj. Why? Because this must be a people's call. But people's call must be with understanding, with precision. Some people think that after Zuhur everything is great situation. No. There will be problems, especially for Imam. In some of ahadith we have, he will be shaheed as well. Okay, who's going to martyr him? In that situation, or when he has a full authority, the good government, everything is in place. How? So it shows that everything is not perfect, even in that time. If we take away this view, this approach, this superficial understanding, this will open the place for us to, when we put ourselves away from this viewpoint, now some question will appear. How? Why? What can I do? Right or wrong? These questions will make our mind, when the mind is set, then we can move toward that preparation for that event, that big event. Because that big event doesn't happen without just, as mentioned. Maybe lots of the problems that happens, maybe one of the reasons that Duhur is not happening is because we haven't been asking these questions. We haven't paying this kind of attention to this concept. And this kind of view, this kind of approach has lots of problems. We mentioned some of them. With this approach, we cannot invite, we cannot make it a global call. Because we're losing those people who ask why, how. Because we don't have answer for that. With this superficial understanding and approach, there will be always possibilities of manipulation of those who say, I've seen him, we are in touch with him, or some people go even higher that say, we are himself, we did a small zuhur. There are lots of these kind of announcements in the past years. This kind of approach and viewpoint gives us only a personal connection to our Imam of our time, which is great. Having a personal connection is great, but is not enough. We need a social connection. We need something beyond that, just me and him. Because at the time of suhoor, it's not just going to be me and him, no, it's going to be a society. It's going to be a government. It requires to think beyond just me and him connection. And more important, the most threat and danger that we have, because of this kind of viewpoint, because of this kind of approach, some people will have a poor understanding and inappropriate understanding of zuhur. They may call for him right now. They may go for dua al-nudbah every week. They may recite dua al-faraj after every prayer. But inshallah, all of us be able to see that government, that zuhur. After that event, what will happen? They say, no, we have. لو كان من ولد فاطمة لرحم. He is not from Bani Hashim. If he was from the descendants of Fatima, he would have shown mercy. This is not the person that I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come. Because of superficial understanding, they created something in their head, they called for it, but when it happened, it doesn't match that understanding. So they are going to come against it. The same person who went for nutbah every week, who did the dua al-faraj every day, because of this poor understanding, will go stay in front of his or her imam of time. Inshallah, we are not among. In the times of inshallah, in the next session we discuss about, so we have to put this viewpoint aside. What is the replacement, understanding, deep approach we have to take toward the topic of intizar and the waiting for the reappearance of our imam of time? Is there any question?